Burnout. Every artist's worst nightmare. And it's a nightmare I battle frequently. I've always been someone who tries to do a lot, and then I kind of crash and burn. Like, I had a completely different video idea for this week, and I could just not write about it at all. Could have been a fun video, but I was just stuck. Which is funny, because I'm like 2 videos in, and I'm just like, well, I'm experiencing burnout. Poo. But it's not just from doing these videos. I've been trying to draw every single day since October. I do college as well, and I'm starting a new job here soon. So life can get overwhelming, and I am the queen of being overwhelmed. So since my other video idea is on the back burner for now, let's talk about my experience with burnout and how I managed to get through it. But before we get into that, let's talk about what I'm drawing today. In the background, we have a fan art for the movie The Last Unicorn, which is a gorgeous film. Beautiful. And it got super popular on TikTok for a little bit, specifically with some audios that had come out. And I actually watched this movie as a kid and had it on DVD, and it was so beautiful. And also terrifying. I was scared of this movie. So this drawing is of Amathea, I don't remember how to pronounce it, who is the unicorn in the movie. And I wanted to do a pretty atmospheric piece for this one, which is a little bit of a struggle, but I enjoy it a lot. That is pretty much all I have to say about the drawing in the background. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get on to the video. I've been drawing for years, ever since I was a little kid, but I started taking it seriously when I was about in 5th grade. So I've experienced damn near 10 years of drawing, and during those 10 years, I've definitely had my ups and downs. My first real experience of, experiencing burnout was during my 8th grade year. I was balancing school, doing choir, drawing, posting online, and practicing my instrument. It was very intense for 8th grade me. And while the workload of middle school wasn't terrible, it was just too busy for me. And for me, when it comes down to burnout, when I end up experiencing it, it feels like a fog has been brushed over my brain. I get tired a lot, my movements kind of slow down, and it's just hard to do anything. During my 8th grade year, I ended up fixing this with sleep and watching a lot of YouTube. I don't remember exactly who I was watching at the time, but I watched a lot of gaming videos. And this is not an amazing way to deal with burnout, at least in my experience. But I hadn't really bothered to look into exactly what was burnout and what I should do to deal with it. So I just did what I thought was best. So, while also watching all this YouTube, I took a break from drawing. My sketchbooks got dusty, my instrument ended up being my main outlet for my creativeness at the time, and that is honestly what helped me out a lot. Art is a hobby to me, at least right now. My dream was, and still is, to make it a profession, either with my own store, through commissions, or selling little things here and there. But when it comes down to hobbies, you need to have at least another one you do for fun. So when you put all your time and effort into one thing, your brain can get bored, or frustrated, or even both, which is the worst. It causes you to lose the love you had for your hobbies, and if you don't have any other outlet to pour yourself into, it can just get overwhelming. That's where playing music came in. If art got overwhelming, I could just pick up my instrument and lay out some smooth jazz. I played saxophone, by the way. And yes, I was the stereotypical saxophone player, but that's for next time. That's when I noticed drawing had become fun again. I could pick up my pencil, do a little sketch, line art, and color it all in just about a few hours. It truly became entertaining again, and all because I just did something else for a time. And that's truly how I coped with my first big burnout. But what do you do when you take both of your hobbies too seriously? Oh yeah, that kills a man. Moving up 1 year to 9th grade, during this time I got really into art and music. I wanted to be as good as a fellow bandmate at art and music. She was an artist and a saxophone player as well, so I looked up to her hardcore. She was really knowledgeable with digital painting and was actually getting a portfolio put together to go to art school to become a character designer. And at the time, that's what I wanted as well. So I tried keeping up with her, putting all my effort into art. But then I also started getting heavily into music. I was in 3 bands during my freshman year, and my sophomore year I was in 5. Oh yeah, imagine that burnout. So I was pouring my heart and soul into doing both art and music. I was traveling around with the band, trying to make friends, trying to keep up with advanced music, keeping up with art, keeping up with schooling. It was terrible. I was constantly having mental breakdowns, and overall, I was just a mess. So having all these things piled up, I just stopped drawing. I wanted to be an artist, but with the amount my peers were pushing for me to be an artist, and even my dad, love you dad, I know you had good intentions, I just stopped. I couldn't do it anymore. My markers sat and rotted, my little Wacom tablet withered away, and my love for art faded. And during this time, I switched all my efforts into music. I wanted to do well in school, and with music in general. So with the final break with art, I broke up with art, only to get back together with art a year later. I mean, what do you expect? I took over a year off and cut y'all some slack. Tell a friend to tell a friend, she's back! Sadly, a lot of the art from this time is just lost. I had a little HP laptop I drew on constantly that just straight up died. So I don't have any high quality images from this time, but at the very least, I was having fun again. And during this time, I actually met and got together with my now husband, who helped a lot with my motivation to get back into art. But as I cannot have anything nice, apparently, something big happened again. Yeah, it was the pandemic. But just why? The pandemic ruined a lot for me, but it also helped a lot. I remember the fateful day of March 14th, 2022. That fateful day where we all had extra time off from school, and without realizing, that extra time off would snowball into years. Years. And this pandemic wouldn't fully be realized and resolved until just earlier this year. So the pandemic killed me a bit on the inside. No shade to my parents, but I wasn't allowed to leave the house for an entire year. Not to go to the store, not to see my grandma, to do anything, which is the safest option. But when you're stuck inside for a year eating nothing but Hot Pockets and taquitos, it drives a man crazy. And something that also didn't help was my parents believed that we would be fined if we went outside for non-essential reasons. So it was very hard. And this ended up killing the creativity in me. And this is when I had another massive burnout. With the weight of not being able to see my at the time boyfriend, now husband, not having any social interactions, family tensions high, and I was sleeping in the same room as my brother, who didn't have a door. And I slept terribly. I had a bed and I had a desk. And my parents were slowly chipping away at my room. They were renovating it, hence why I was in a different room. So I would wake up, immediately turn around to work at my desk, do all my schoolwork there, any drawing I did there, play games there, I would turn around and go back to sleep. I was just a drone, and drawing was so depressing during this time. I had nothing I wanted to draw, no motivation to keep it going. It was just awful. I slept awfully. I stayed in a little cube for basically a year, and when I finally got my room back, I just couldn't do it anymore. I was so exhausted, art wasn't fun anymore. I ended up focusing solely on schooling and working out, and I didn't really do anything creative. I doodled a couple times, but it wouldn't have been till recently where I would find my love for art again. During my senior year, my husband bought me an iPad. It has been a very valuable tool for me. I do all my thumbnails on there, and most of the shorts or TikToks that you see were drawings made on my iPad. I was really excited, and I started carrying it around with me everywhere. I had an Apple Pencil I bought for it, and I actually bought that paper feel screen protector for it, and don't get those. It was like sandpaper to my ears, and filed down my Apple Pencil's pen tip, so after like a month, I had to order new tips, and I just ended up throwing out that screen protector. But that iPad saved me. I had another bout of burnout during this tail end of my senior year, but here we are, and I'm back in full swing. So what caused me to get out of my bout once again? Well, it was a part of having an amazing support system, and the fact that I'm almost 20 and I want to do art more than just a hobby. I want to grow as an artist. I want to have it be a big part of my life again. I want to eventually run an online shop where I'm able to, or in general, just sell fun products or do commissions. I want it to stick with me, which is why I'm working hard to improve. I attempt to draw every single day, or at least do something that pushes my artistic skills to the limit. I want to grow, and I want to change. I am me. and art is a part of me. And right now, it is easy to feel burnt out with life, especially with me. I'm doing college and work and art. I just want to live my life the way I want to. So art has to stick around, and I have to stick with it. So now that I've kind of run through my experiences with burnout, how do we fix burnout? First, we have to figure out why we are experiencing burnout. Are you being too physically demanding on yourself? Is emotional or cognitive fatigue really getting to you? Do you not have enough energy throughout the day to make it through everything that you want to do? That is what we have to figure out first, the root cause. Because when we can find it is when we can take certain steps to correct it. If it's physical fatigue, you need to rest. Do another hobby you enjoy, take a nap, or just take a break for a day or two. If it's job related, then that's harder to do, and I'm not talking about job related burnout, I'm kind of talking about hobby burnout, but moving on, your brain needs breaks as well. It's like you're working on a muscle. While working hard and doing overloads are what causes your brain to grow, it can also lead to your brain becoming overworked. This slows you down, causes your brain to hurt, and overall, can't really retain anything as well as before. So what can you really do to help this? Prioritize self-care. Take time for just yourself. I mentioned this earlier, but when it came to breaks, but that is the true cure for burnout. When you experience it, it sucks so bad, but you need to just take time to help yourself. Take a nice bath. Go hang out with friends. Or if you don't have any friends, like me, go play games and cry when teammates flame you in Overwatch because you aren't doing enough and you have a Genji who just dives the backline over and over again and the other supports and I can't do anything to save him and then he blames us for his faults. I'm not projecting, I swear. And, if that doesn't help, you can reduce your workloads. Let's say, for example, you are in college and also trying to post every single day on social media. College is the main priority here. So maybe posting every single day on social media isn't going to work out. Slow it down. Maybe post every other day. Or if you still want to post more consistently, maybe take one day to not post. Prioritize what you want and slow things down that aren't high on that priority list. That's what I'm doing right now. I have a priority of college first, then making YouTube, and then just fun art to post on social media. That's what works best for me, and I understand that this video is actually a little late, and yeah, you can blame burnout for that. But I just had to go through and reprioritize what I wanted versus what I needed. And I know this started off as a storytime thing, and I got into this, but I felt like it was important to talk about. And that's what really helps me beat burnout, is just making sure I'm taking time for myself and reprioritizing things when I get overwhelmed. Because once I'm no longer overwhelmed, I can kind of work around my prioritization list and see, will this fit here? Maybe I can do a little more here. It's just all up to you. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new or just enjoyed hearing about my suffering. I hope you all have an amazing day, and if you sticked around to the end, feel free to subscribe or follow me on any social media link below. I'll hopefully have more to talk about and post in my next video, so I'll see you all next time. See ya!